Virgil Hunter would join them during the interview. You wouldn't actually hear from Virgil Hunter. Collazo, Barry. Collazo, Guerrero. Which one is the easiest? Which one is the best? Because that could be two different things.
I think the Guerrero fight is easy. I think
I
think Collazo's tricky. A horrible fight to buy. I think it'd be a good fight because they're both speed merchants,
yeah, and he's
and
in form.
that makes it. He's in form. Just beat Ortiz. Just knocked out Ortiz. So I think it's a really good fight, but not a walk in the park. And I tell you what, I think if Amir can keep a high work rate for 12 rounds, then he wins the fight. If he switches off mentally, Collazo could knock him out.
I think that's fair. That comment about work rate. Just quickly, Barry. If he does a good job on Collazo, wins clearly, does a proper job, like the sort of job Shane Mosley did a few years ago. Does that move him within a centimetre of being rubber stamped for Mayweather in November?
Well, who knows, Steve? We thought he was going to be on this one.
You know what? Perhaps they'll have a poll. Perhaps Mayweather will have a poll and decide. Anyway, David Walker's the special guest this week. We've already heard from Duke McKenzie talking very movingly. You seem to be loving that on Twitter about Mickey Duff. Now, Dave. A few years ago, when you boxed for you boxed for England. Your first time you boxed for England, you formed a bit of a bond with the captain that night.
Yeah,
Tell me who he was. Tell me about that story.
Well, when I first boxed for England against Germany, I'd never been abroad, you know, and I was very nervous getting on a plane. And there was this big man, dreadlocks, a bit loud, and it was Harry Senior. And what a gentleman and a nice man, you know. And he made me give me a little hug and made me feel supportive. And we boxed in Germany. I won one, lost one, and I think he knocked the kid out. But we had such a laugh, and then we got close. And then when I turned pro, I think he was over Hackney sometime training. And then someone told me in the gym that he's had a...
This is about 3 years ago when he was sparring.
Right. Yeah, he was sparring.
With Albert Sosnowski,
right, And someone told me in the gym near me, where I live, that Harry Senior, I heard the name mentioned. I said, oh, I know him. And they said he's had an injury. So I'm doing my knowledge. So I'm on my motorbike one day. I thought, I'm going to slip in there and see him in the Lewisham Hospital. So I went in there and I asked for Harry Senior. I said, oh, Harold Senior, yes. Are you good friends? I thought, I only want to see a friend. So I went in there and I was shocked. No one was there. I was there for about an hour.
No one came?
And he had this thing on his head and he couldn't talk, couldn't move. I went to shake his hand, he couldn't move. And it was just, I got choked up, you know. And I thought, this
when was this, about 2.5 years ago or more?
A bit longer, you know. And I thought, I've got to try and make awareness of this. And I've done my best and phoned up the boxing board. And I got a bit upset and he said, anything for you, David, Tristickson. He put a big thing, and everyone, we done some dues for him, we raised a lot of money.
Raised some money.
Myself and Andy Farr, we raised some money. We done well. And but it was like no one was going to see him. A lot of people did go and see him, but there's more people that was more closer that should have gone to see him and done more. Could have done a lot more. But
where is he at the moment? I mean, you know, what's his standard of life at the moment, Gary? Because he suffered an injury sparring, walked away, then collapsed and was operated on. You know, how's Harry today?
Today, he's in good spirit. He knows everything you say. He can talk quite clearly. He can't have a proper conversation with you. I don't think he's... I don't know. Hopefully he's getting better. But for a year I put myself on hold off the knowledge. I've got 3 kids myself. So
well, just to look after Harry?
Just to do... Not so much, but doing a lot. I was doing my best. Yeah, going to see him a lot. Where I'm doing my knowledge, I haven't had time. You know, I've got 3 kids myself.
So you put yourself back?
Yeah, so I don't know how really he's doing. I should go and see him a bit more, but...
So let's say if he was here now, would he be okay here now?
He'd have a talk, he'd have a laugh. He could. I wouldn't say he could have conversations, but he says like, yeah, man, yeah, but he knows what he's saying. He just can't do what he wants to do.
So what about his lifestyle? I mean, is he getting disability money?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm assuming he's not working. Is he getting looked after?
I wouldn't say so. No, I think it all started for a little while from the hospital, Lewisham Hospital, when he got stopped. But he's got 4 kids. But you just get left alone after his... Do you know what I mean, Steve? It's such a shame, but...
So it'd be nice to try and organise something.
Yeah,
try and do
nice
something. I saw him fight, you know, dozens and dozens of times.
What a tough fighter, what a tough...
Yeah. He went out as Audley's official sparring partner when Audley won the Olympics. I hope Audley's done something.
Do you know what?
I
will say something. I met Audley in Catford. I took him to his house. He was busy at the time.
Top man.
And he gave him money. He never got mentioned, but he gave him a big cheque, and you can't say no more.
You see?
So he's done good things, Audley. People say things, but I was on England with Audley at the Commonwealth Games, and he was great, you know. He was really...
In Kuala Lumpur?
He was great, yeah. You can't...
Big Audley. How about that? You didn't think you were going to get that tonight. Duke McKenzie praising Mickey Duff and David Walker praising... And a little bit about this. In fact, we'll talk once we get up to Newcastle. Dave, I'm conscious I'm running out of time. What are you up to these days?
Do you know what, Steve? I've done a diploma in personal training. I've got my own gym now. And I'm trying
Whereabouts
to do
in South London?
South London, Blackfen in South London. I'm trying to do the knowledge. I'm on my 56s. I broke my shoulder, fell off the motorbike. I've got to carry on, you know.
Are you rubbish on a motorbike? Are you one of those guys that's just rubbish?
I couldn't stand my feet on the ring, let alone a motorbike. I've come a few times. I'm rushing about, but I've got 3 kids. I've got to do it, you know. I've got to deal with my wife. If I do it the knowledge done, we can try for another one. I've got to get 2 boys out of my bed because they're in my bed, the bastards. I want to have a little girl. If I can have a little girl, Steve, I'd have a little. One more. If I knew I could have a girl.
You can't just order them, I'm afraid, Dave. You can't think.
I know how to do it now, Steve. I think I know how to do it now. You've got to have it longer.
Hold on a minute.
I know now.
If you know how to do it, you're wasting your time doing the lines. You can become a millionaire if you can market.
I think I know what you do now. I'm hoping. I think 4th time I'll have a girl. So, see.
Listen, I know I saw you look at it, David. If you've been a bit worried about it out there, you've probably noticed that Barry. Let's not make a big thing of it, but Barry's got a big black eye. In fact, we know why he's got a big eye, a big black eye. Let's have a little look at what Barry's been up to in the gym lately.
Last few weeks, Barry John's been beating up on my man, Tony, and I want to save it for myself. I figured out a way to beat him up.
It was definitely a lot of love in that gym. Barry, just to confirm, it wasn't Ian Wright that did you right, was it? You can't say, can you?
Well, it was Ian Wright or Tony Healy there. They're boxing for charity. It's a golfer and a football player boxing for charity, a Deborah charity, this Friday in a hotel in Heathrow for a great cause. And they've been training for 8 weeks really hard. There's been a lot of sparring with them, and they've been beating me up just a little bit.
You're much bigger than you. So Dave, do you still get to shows these days?
I go to shows, Steve. I've got some boys that are boxing on a show on the 4th of April at York Hall, Dominic's show, who trains boys at Canning Town.
Yep.
So I've got 2 boys on there, just white collar. And I go to a lot of amateur shows and some pros when I can, when I've got time, you know, because I'm putting a lot of my time in doing the knowledge. But I love the boxing, you know, it's in my blood, so I love the shows, you know.
Would you say, Dave, that you're a happy man now?
Now I'm happy with my wife, 3 kids, yes. But I miss the boxing, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I'll say I'm happy, sometimes.
You can't have any regrets in the boxing. You never ever left anything in the gym,
I think
did you?
I cut a few corners, Rob will tell you. But I loved it, Steve. It's the best thing I've ever done. Other than seeing my kids born, I loved the boxing. Best thing, loved it. I love everyone in it. Yeah, it's great.
What a delight, Barry, to have a guest in. 2 guests in today, Duke and Dave. It's been like a privilege to be in the studio around these 2 guys.
It's great to see Dave so happy. He just smiles all the time. Never got a bad word to say about anybody. It's almost hard to believe he used to be a boxer, because all the boxers I know are bitter by nature.
I'm not bitter at all. Oh, sorry. The people I met in boxing are so great. They're all nice. There ain't many not nice people in boxing, there really, truthfully. I don't think so.
Listen, Kid Dynamite, it's been absolutely a pleasure having you in. David Walker, fantastic to see you. Fantastic to see that fight we saw earlier. Barry, it's always a pleasure to have you in debating what we've been debating. I've got to thank especially tonight, obviously, Stewie Hall for coming on the phone, but I've got to really thank Duke McKenzie for coming in and opening up his heart in a very, very raw interview where he gave us everything about Mickey Duff. We're back on Saturday night when we will be live and exclusive in Newcastle. What a night it will be. Frankie Gavin, the British cruiserweight title. It will be chaos. Right after this show, though, we've got this man coming up, Frankie Gavin.